Holding space is about showing up authentically and creating safety in the moments that matter most. From parenting littles to navigating friendships and partnerships, I reframe tantrums, conflicts, and messy feelings as invitations to connection. I'm Julia Clark, a psychotherapist and play therapist with over 30 years of experience walking alongside children, families, and the people who care for them. Each episode explores the building blocks of emotional literacy, co-regulation, and boundaries, while honoring the intergenerational stories we carry within. Blending science with lived wisdom, I believe growth is playful, healing is possible, and we are all learning together. Hi, I'm Julia, and together we're holding space. There's a moment that happens in relationships that can feel surprisingly hard to navigate. Your partner is overwhelmed. Maybe they're quiet, maybe they're irritable, maybe they're shutting down or snapping or pulling away. And something in you responds. You want to help. You want to fix it. You want to understand what's going on. Or maybe you feel yourself getting pulled into it. The tension, the disconnection, the sense that something isn't right. And you're left wondering, what do they need right now? And how do I be there for them without losing myself in the process? Today, I want to slow that moment down with you, because overwhelm in a relationship isn't just about stress. It's about the nervous system. And even deeper than that, it's about attachment. This is where the work of Winnicott becomes so meaningful. Winnicott introduced the idea of the holding environment, a space where someone can experience their emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them, because they are not alone inside it. Originally, he spoke about this in the context of caregivers and infants, but this need doesn't disappear as we grow up. In adult relationships, we're still asking the same question, just in more subtle ways. Am I safe with you when I'm not okay? And this is where Sue Johnson and emotionally focused therapy help us go even deeper. Johnson teaches us that underneath conflict, underneath withdrawal, underneath overwhelm, there is a core attachment question we are always asking each other. Are you there for me? When overwhelm enters a relationship, it pulls couples into a pattern, what we call the pursuer-withdrawer cycle. One partner moves towards the connection with urgency, intensity, or frustration. The other moves away into silence, shutdown, or distance. And neither of these responses are the problem. They are protections. The pursuer is trying to restore connection. The withdrawer is trying to regulate overwhelm. But from the outside, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like one person is too much, and the other is not enough. And this is the place where things escalate. Because when your partner is overwhelmed, your nervous system responds too. If they withdraw, you might pursue. If they escalate, you might shut down. And suddenly, instead of one person needing support, there are two nervous systems reacting. This is the cycle that takes over. And the more it repeats, the more it reinforces the fear underneath it. Because under the frustration, under the withdrawal, there are deeper, more vulnerable emotions. What emotionally focused therapy calls primary emotions. Not, you're not listening, but I feel alone. Not, why are you like this? But I don't know how to reach you. Not silence, but I'm overwhelmed and I don't know how to stay present. When these primary emotions aren't expressed, they get protected by secondary reactions. Those are things like criticism, defensiveness, shutdown, and distance. And then the cycle continues. A partner once shared how painful this felt in her relationship. When her husband was overwhelmed, he would go quiet. He would withdraw, disengage, give short responses, and it would trigger something immediate in her. A sense of urgency, a need to close the gap, to bring him back into connection. So she would ask questions, try to get him to talk, push for clarity. And the more she moved towards him, the more he pulled away. This would then feel like rejection. But when we slowed it down, we saw something different. His withdrawal wasn't about not caring. It was about being overwhelmed. His nervous system needed the space to settle. And her pursuit wasn't about control. It was about needing reassurance that the connection was still there. Both were asking the same question. Are you there for me? They were just asking it in different ways. So we shifted the focus. Instead of trying to fix the pattern, we began to name it. Instead of, why are you shutting down? It became, I can feel the distance, and it's hard for me. Instead of, why are you pushing me? It became, I get overwhelmed and I need a moment to come back. With these changes, something softened, because the cycle was no longer invisible. Attunement began to take its place. Attunement isn't about saying the perfect thing. It's about sensing what's happening underneath the behavior and responding to that. It might sound like, I can see this is a lot right now. Or, you don't have to talk yet. I'm here. Or even, I think we're both getting pulled into something right now. It's not about fixing the feeling. It's about making space for it. And this is where the idea of being a soft landing comes in. A soft landing doesn't rush the process. It doesn't demand resolution. It doesn't escalate the moment. It stays steady, present, and available. But it doesn't mean losing yourself either. Because attunement is not self-abandonment. You are allowed to have limits. You're allowed to say, I care about you, and I need a moment too. You're allowed to step back without disconnecting. Because the goal isn't to absorb your partner's emotions. It's to stay connected to them while staying connected to yourself. This is often where the deeper work is. Because when your partner is overwhelmed, it can activate your own attachment story, your own relationship to disconnection, your own fears about distance. And if you learned that disconnection means loss, you may feel a real urgency to repair it immediately. If you learned that emotions were overwhelming, you may pull away to protect yourself. So in these moments, we're not just responding to our partner, we're responding to our own history. And this is where awareness becomes really powerful, because not all distance is disconnection. Sometimes it's about regulation. Sometimes it's the nervous system trying to come back to safety. And when we can allow that space without panic, without pressure, we begin to create something different. We start to create safety inside the relationship. Take a moment and notice your own patterns. When your partner is overwhelmed, what happens in you? Do you move towards them or away? Do you try to fix it or protect yourself? And gently ask, what feels hardest for me in that moment? Is it what's happening in them or what it brings up in me? There's no right answer here, just awareness. Because overwhelm isn't the problem in a relationship. It's just part of being human. What matters is what happens around it. When one person can stay steady while the other moves through something hard, something powerful is created. A sense of safety, a sense that you don't have to be perfect to be loved, that you can fall apart and still be held. This is what Winnicott meant by a holding environment. And this is what Sue Johnson reminds us of again and again. At the core of every relationship is the question, are you there for me? And every time we respond with presence instead of reaction, we answer yes. This is part of our Holding Space series, where we bring compassion and clarity into the moments that shape connection. If this episode resonated with you, consider sharing it with a friend, partner, or family member. Sometimes the conversations that help us feel more understood are the same ones that help the people we care about feel less alone. Thank you for being here and for holding space with me. If the content of this podcast really resonated with you and you'd like to go even deeper, I'd love to invite you to step into this work more fully. Beyond the podcast, there are many ways that we can connect. Individual therapy for your child, parent coaching or support for yourself, and deeper I Am sessions that explore intergenerational patterns. Additionally, I also offer webinar workshops and weekend retreats for parents, classes, intensive trainings and supervision for therapists, and large group presentations for educators or school presentations. Each are designed to help us hold space for the next generation of children in safe, attuned, and meaningful ways. You can learn more and explore what fits best for you at clarity.family.